for the dog, and I'm walking my dog. But I wanted to share with you guys how beautiful the golf course is out here this morning. Check this out. Oops. Okay, here we go. All right, look. See, in the morning it looks like snow. It has a frost on the ground at the golf course, so it's like you can see that one patch isn't so frosty, and then rest of it is. It's just gorgeous out here. So I wanted to share with you as the sun rises here in Ahava Beach on the island of Oahu, Hawaii, a little bit about our Sabbath, what we're planning this week, what the gym's got going on, the ministry and everything we're doing. So I'm just going to give you a little update of everything as we watch the sunrise. There's my beautiful little puppy. He's getting old. His whole entire body's turning gray. But aren't we all? Alrighty, so today, happy Shabbat Shalom. It's Saturday morning. We do have Sabbath at Trax Beach this morning at 11 a.m. If you guys would like to join us, that's Nanakuli Trax Beach, 11 a.m. every Saturday morning, unless it is raining. So anyway, it's beautiful. We're going to be discussing a lot of things that the ministry is now doing. On Sunday afternoon, we're going to National Bill of Exchange, since all of us are now working on living in the private and becoming quite good at it. There's my kitty cat. Wanted to share just so much. I'm kind of overwhelmed. In the last 20 years, the things that I've worked on and accomplished are honestly quite astonishing. We moved here from Hermosa Beach, California in 2003. So it was 21 years ago. I gave birth to my now 20-year-old who's a carpenter and doing quite well here. Just got himself a new girlfriend, so he's super happy. And my other 23-year-old's in the Coast Guard, and my older one than that, he just made Fire Academy #1 in his class. So he's now a fireman at Honolulu Fire Department. So I'm pretty happy mom, proud of them, and still kitties and dogs, just like I'm here to help the broken put back their lives, whether they be a little dog like Oliver. Hey, Ollie, come sit with mommy. Come on up here. Or kitties. We think we're down to 5 now. I've had as many as 7 usually going on. It's just quite beautiful out here. It's still not quite light, but the light is coming up. It's quite pretty. And I just wanted to share with you guys this week's agenda. So, Saturday is Shabbat Shalom. We're either at the Trax Beach, Nanakuli, or if it's raining or foul weather or too much surf, no parking, then we meet at the CrossFit gym in Kapolei, which is now called Alakai Fit. I like the fit because it stands for me, for Faith Inspired Transformation, because that's what I do. I'm a transformational life coach for the Most High God, for Yeshua HaMashiach. And it started off with just wanting to serve God, but then I just have to tell you a little bit of my journey. So the first 40 years, like most people, I was completely lost in the world, trying to just, find a career, find happiness, get married, have kids, do the whole programmed agenda that they create for us that should make us happy out here, right? And after that, I went to college. I got a degree in elementary education. I've never really taught, but I like children. I love children. That's why I wanted to do it. It's just, I'm also really good at promotions and marketing and PR and things like that. I just love people, and when I'm excited or I believe in something or somebody, I'm pretty good at getting others to follow. So when I got to Hawaii, I went to Bible school, earned a master's degree in theology and divinity. And then a couple years later, I started studying common law. And when I started studying common law after studying the Bible, my whole entire paradigm, my whole entire world changed, because I realized how it says in the Bible, in the end, the whole world would be deceived. How is that possible? Well, there's a little social club called the Elite, and all those elite do not worship Jesus Christ or Yeshua. They don't even follow him at all. They follow Canaanite, Babylon, Baal worship, which is human sacrifice. And they might not actually throw kids into a fire like in the old days they did for a human sacrifice. Today they do it through birth certificate bonds. So the baby comes into the life through the mother's womb, which is the birth canal. And then they use maritime admiralty law, crazy butt language to kill, steal, and destroy us before we ever get out of the hospital. So they turn a living baby made of flesh, blood, water, all the elements, and, we're made of stardust, water, all of that, blood and life. And then after that, we get converted into this artificially created entity called a birth certificate. And from that point forward, we just get shuffled around the matrix board down here, trying to figure out how this all happened, who we are, what happened to us, the whole thing. Anyway, long story short, I finally got to the point in my walk where all the puzzle pieces are coming together. So I've been following common law. I started studying this lady, Anna von Reitz. I thought she could do no harm. And then the Most High provided me a way to understand what that was really all about. I was actually supposed to get on a call of hers back, oh gosh, it's been at least 4 or 5 years now. And I ended up on the National-Assembly call by accident, and they were actually talking about her, about Anna von Reitz, and how she stole the Michigan Assembly handbook, rewrote it, called it her own, and then broke up the entire assembly that they had started to resurrect the country back to the republic. Because you don't want a democracy, guys. Democracy is gang rule. And haven't you seen that on TV by now? Gang rule. And the republic is what Benjamin Franklin said. I gave you a republic if you can keep it. Well, we haven't done a very good job of keeping it because we're ignorant, and we just, as human beings, and I am admitting I have the same defect, you guys. We are so easily strayed, pulled away, carried away captive, and just lost. Anyway, so sorry, I got a big old, I'm in the flight pattern, so look what we get to look forward to every morning right there. They're so noisy. Praise Yah, they go by quick. And then I get back to the serenity of this place. So where were we? So I started learning all this common law stuff. So I started learning the assemblies were popping up all over the country, and that we needed 13 amazing, well-educated people and 13 to start a petite grand jury in every state, which you can bring back the de facto, which is the corporation. You can overturn the corporation and give it back, the government, to the people once the people rise up. So when the dead de facto dies, the de jure rises. But the problem is they've done such a great job in my lifetime. They stopped taking prayer out of school. They stopped, they just basically stopped teaching us anything. The stuff we learn is nonsense, and it's of absolutely no use to us, except it's good for the de facto because it prepares us to have their great slave jobs. Then we give, at least a third of that money back to them. But I have news for you guys. It's our money. They basically, they hijacked our whole life through that SETA KV trust birth certificate con job. And, I asked my mom about this when I started first learning this. I said, did they ever tell you anything at the hospital when all your kids were born, Mom, about like what you're giving up by signing the kids away into you sign that certificate of live birth, they go dock it, like pulling in a ship, because you're considered a vessel. They pull into the dock, right? A ship anchors at dock. So when they give you that birth certificate, they dock it. That's called a legal word for filing, right? Your birth certificate usually it's at Vital Statistics or the Department of Health, but you don't know any of this information. Your mom doesn't know any of this information. So what's happening is you're actually giving up your baby at birth to the state. And here's a note that all parents should know. Everything registered to the state, your dog for a dog license, your house, your cars, your children, everything registered to the state owns, believe it or not. So we think we're the home of the land of the free and the brave, and we're so free and we've been so blessed with all the abundance. Well, all this abundance technically belongs to the state, not you. You're just a slave in the state that has the privilege of using it. But because it doesn't belong to you, you don't really own it. So don't really even have title, which is another tricky thing I learned. We don't even have title to our own name, our given name that mommy gave you at birth. Because what they do is they bastardize that name when they put you into the legal fiction realm, and they file you and they docket you at vital statistics in your home state where you're born. If mom doesn't go black to claim your name before she leaves the hospital, they assume you're abandoned property. And so now your whole life is now in the system, and it just goes on and on from cradle to grave till you die. And most people die and they never know any of this knowledge. So, one of my favorite scriptures from Yeshua Jesus was always Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. It's so true. We're all destroyed because we've been dumbed down, and it's not your fault. I mean, we've been dumbed down on purpose by design. So, it would almost be impossible to put all these puzzle pieces together that you can ascend, reclaim your name, reclaim everything that was registered to the state back to you. And then to do that, you have to set up a private trust, and you have to take everything from the de facto that they think they control or they own, including you, your car, your children, your house, and most importantly to me is yourself. You know, in the Bible, it also says when you go to be offered up to the synagogue of Satan, don't be afraid. He'll tell us what to say. Well, guess what the synagogue of Satan is, you guys? It's their de facto courtrooms, because the de facto courtrooms are for the dead, not the living people. You have to come out of de facto fiction land, become a real girl or boy, just like Pinocchio. They turned him into wood, he's a wood puppet. Well, what is a straw man? A straw man is a piece of paper made out of what? Wood. So it is quite humorous if you can have a sense of humor about all this evil. But when you do figure it all out, then it becomes fun. So I got to tell you a little story about what happened on Monday. So once I started doing all this, I did Secure Party. It's a process that is about 18 pages. I've mastered it now. So any of you guys who want to start the journey from hell to well, back from the dead land to the promised land, from the dead to the living, where you can be in control of your life and Yeshua owns you, not the state. That's what we do. We help people wake up, rise and shine, just like the sun coming up over here. And the Hawaii Prince Golf Course is so beautiful in the morning, and there's birds, and every morning it pretty much looks like this. It's just gorgeous. So anyway, so once you start the journey, the first thing we're going to do is prove your identity. There's something called centric identity. You can order a little workbook. There's a love offering of $25. You can find that workbook on TKC, that stands for Thy Kingdom Come, .network. So tkc.network. Find this centric identity workbook, order it. It's a love offering of $25. I strongly suggest you guys really sign up and start coming to our live classes, because this has been a vision for 20 years since I started Bible school here in Hawaii, got a master's degree in theology and divinity. Like I said, I've been studying this for years. I'm a little white Halle woman, as you can see, and I started the Honolulu Jural, it's called the Hawaii Jural Assembly, and it's a common law Jural Assembly. We got it up to 60 people so that we could be one assembled unit, because we have 4 islands that have to be part of that. The Big Island, Kauai, Maui, and this island. When Trump was in House or was running years ago, that was like really the first time I ever tried to participate in that. But then the more that I learned, living people don't really vote in de facto fiction. So even though I support, because somebody's got to run the dead corporation, and you don't want communist type of mindset that have absolutely no love and evil in their hearts, at least from what I can see for Trump. Who would put themselves and their family through all the horse hockey, malarkey, pain in the butt, dealing with all the Satanists that are doing spells on you, trying to steal your money, trying to humiliate you like that? I feel sorry for Mr. Trump, honestly, for President Trump, because what they've done to that man and his family, because he is really smart, but all the little demons, the demon rats. Do you guys know what the word Democrat means? Fishers of demons. It's a fishing basket of demons in Latin. Pretty good analogy of those guys, right? They lie, they cheat, they steal, they do whatever. They're completely narcissistic on steroids, trying to get their way because they want to run your life. Demons want to possess you and steal all your assets, steal your children, poke them up with jabs. They really want to depopulate the planet. So, what is the whole, the whole vaccine thing was planned for years so they can make a ton of money and thin the herd. You have to understand, in their world, you're just part of their chattel. You don't belong to you. You don't belong to God. You belong to them. You're a serf. You're a chattel. You're nothing. And I know it's hard to take, but it's the truth. And until people can face these hard truths, we can't move on to freeing yourself. Because if you think you're delusional enough to think that you're free indeed, DEED, well, I good luck. That's all I don't want to pick on people who don't get this yet, because Jesus said, Yeshua said, he wants every need about him. He wants everybody to come out of Mystery Babylon so they can have life and life more abundantly. And here's my favorite part of the scriptures: the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. So after 20 years of earning a master's degree, starting a common law assembly, teaching 508c1a ministry trust and private membership association, and how to start coming out of Babylon to live in the private, I'm just so proud of myself. On Monday, I had put all of my vehicles, which I don't call them that anymore, I just call them my automobile, because a vehicle is another trick word for their property. So you don't want to use the words individuals, persons. Even in the Bible says God is no respecter of persons. Well, everybody thinks that's like a difference between color of your skin or age or ethnicity or race. That's not true. It's all about the banking language. It's all about the lies. I mean, it could be multiple things that he doesn't like differentiate between us as far as color of skin or age or race or any of that. But it's also, persons is a legal word. It's an artificial entity created by men for men to steal, kill, and destroy you from knowing who you really are. So, this is a little lesson in just coming out of Babylon and the Matrix, and a little bit of my testimony. I'm going to make a whole video because I have a beautiful Zoom my sister put together for when my dad passed. And as you guys have probably heard, if you've been watching my videos for some time, although I've had two YouTube videos, or two YouTube channels that have been taken down in the past because I just told too much truth, and we get, a red flag and a red flag, and then they just take me off the air, because everything I'm telling you guys is the gospel. It's the absolute truth. And they don't want the truth out there because they've got a whole world full of slaves under the UCC, called the Uniform Commercial Code. And if you start breaking out of Babylon and you teach your family legacy building and how to come out and be free, then what are they going to do? Oh, maybe open the borders and bring in a whole bunch of illegal aliens so they can use and abuse those guys instead of us because we're waking up? I don't know. Just a thought. Think about that one. So, you, ignorance is a sin. It really is, because ignorance is a word for ignoring something. If you scripted, planned, all to, get your mind to go one way or the other, get the herd to be steered in one way or the other, then you don't really have a hope of, escaping the matrix. Here we go again. I wonder where they all come in. We get lots of planes coming into Hawaii every day. There you go. There's another big one. I don't know if it's from Japan or the Philippines or mainland. They're just all day long, especially in the morning and early evening. We have a ton of planes. So forgive me for that, guys. Where was I? Okay, so Monday. I was going to tell you about my winning Monday. So back private membership associations, how to come out of LLCs, businesses, and turn things into private membership associations, which is really great for like what we would have formerly called business. Just turn it into a private membership club, and you can do trade with people. People ask me all the time, "What religion are you guys?" I said, "We aren't a religion. We are basically just followers. We follow the scriptures to the best of our ability. And if I can figure this out, I'm not even middle aged anymore. I was middle aged when I started, but now I'm a senior. But if a senior woman who loves God, who goes to Bible school at 40 years old and gets a master's degree in theology, who are way smarter than me, so I can be taught, because I wanted to be a taught one by Yeshua. I wanted to, when I pass out of this body, sojourning on this planet, I could stand before him and literally hear, "Good job, faithful servant." Because the first 40 years, I was like everybody else, a train wreck, just looking for all the love in all the wrong places, trying to amass the right job or the right boy. On the materialist, when I do my spiritual coaching, I start on working on your inner self, because if once you get it on the inside, everything will change on the outside. What you're looking for and what's showing, and all of heaven's going, your spiritual guides are going, "Hallelujah, they're finally on the right track. Yay, yay, yay," right? So stick on the right track, because the zigging and the zagging and getting off on this path or this path or studying with this person I spent probably $30,000 to $50,000 over the last 20 years in buying processes from every single person on the internet. Now, mind you, when I started all this, full of people teaching living in the private back then. I mean, hardly anybody. You had to dig deep all the time, asking me like, "Do you know this guy or do you know this one?" And I bought all the processes, and I'm not saying most of them are almost the same. Quite pretty part is pretty wannabe. U.S. citizens have no rights. You're basically just like in the military, you're giving up the living person's identity, for this artificially created identity, supposedly for benefits. But the reality is, it's all your money in the first place. And that's another thing. They took us off the gold standard in 1933. So 1933, when House Joint Resolution 192 came into effect. So turn back to God's law versus man's de facto fiction law, because fiction is sick, it's twisted, it's not truthful. Everything is a trick. And when you see it from a fresh set of eyes, looking at it from a different, get us to voluntarily do it out of our own ignorance, because we don't know who we are. So Monday, I had my cars put into each car, or each automobile was individually put in its own 508c1a. Commercial entities and private entities. To just go to cemetery, I'm dead in the system too. They don't really know any of what I'm trying to teach you guys, none of it. So, I wouldn't go to those guys, because they're just regurgitating what they've been taught, which isn't much. And everybody can read the Word of God, the Bible, on their own. They don't need somebody to read the Bible. What they need is the interpretation thereof. Because talk about tongues. Oh, you can speak in tongues. Well, there's tongues of angels. That's us, who know what's really going on, right? And then there's the tongues of those who are the liars. And that would be your bar attorneys, your de facto fiction corporation people who don't believe in God. They believe in themselves, and they believe in raking up your money and using it for their own purposes, right? So, like, there's the sun coming up there. It's really beautiful out here this morning. I love coming to this little park with my dog. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, peaceful place. Anyway, so who's the enemy of our soul? Not all these other countries with the people like you guys, just regular old people. They're not the enemies of your soul. It's the leaders, Satanists, that are into this de facto crap, running things through their little private clubs and using you guys as collateral, right? So you don't want to be collateral anymore, do you? I don't think anybody does. Let's just sit and talk a little bit this morning about how do you leave. So good, so good for your lungs and fresh cooking. It's just lovely. All this green foliage is just so that's the view from my front porch. It's pretty nice, huh? Um, Anyway, so basically all at the same time, right? So in their world, you can't have two matching names that are different designations. So it's hire a living man or woman, dead fiction. Born again. So in court on Monday, I said I'm here on special appearance for, and then I named the trust name out of there as fast as possible because the main reason is they don't want to have all the other slaves in the system hear the truth because they're all going to go, oh my God, well, how did that just happen? What does she know that I don't know? Or what does that guy know that I don't know? Well, I brought my mentor, who went to law school, U.S. Passport. So I changed his prejudice not to be brought up again. So this stuff works. You could probably just wrap this one down, but I just wanted to give you kind of an overall view of what's happening during the week with TK